Very good.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February meeting of the Binghamton Local Development Corporation. Our first item of business this morning is the minutes from the January 26th regular meeting. You should have them in your packet. I move to approve. Thank you, Mr. Saul. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Rachel?
Okay, so this is the January financial report. We'll start on page 4 for the restricted account. And I apologize, some of you, the final page of this report, you have it, it's just not attached. It's like skip it on. But we'll start on page 4, with the restricted account. The end of month balance in the restricted account is $783,801.22. Notice that we had a big closings in January. So Hanrahan Enterprises closed, and that was $250,000 to Near Cheese Pizza. So we'll skip over to page 6 for the UDAG account. The end of month balance in UDAG was $1,060,880.05. And then if we skip to page 7 for the accounts receivable for the loans in UDAG, there are a couple of loans that were paid so close to the end of the month that they didn't make it on the January deposit, but Rankin has paid and PA Every Architect has paid. So skip over to the unrestricted account. You'll see a couple or I guess just one deposit and restricted. That was the commitment fee for Hanrahan. There was no activity in the Enterprise Triad account. No activity in the Mother Veterans Initiatives account. No activity in the grant account. And then on that final page that wasn't attached are the delinquent accounts. Still delinquent are Ariel Hendricks and 142 Court Street and 1 North Depot. So that brings the delinquency percentage of all loans not designated non-performing to 0.54. I did speak with Josh Bishop yesterday about the North Depot payments, and he is having a problem with Chase. Surprise, surprise, with his auto payments. So he's aware of the problem and the payments should be coming in.
He's been okay, right?
He's usually fine, and it does not surprise me that someone should be having a problem with Chase. We've had many problems with Chase, so we're gonna try to help him out and get that sorted.
Yeah, seems like a good kid.
Okay. Any other questions about the financials? Thank you, Rachel, very much. No old business. On new business, we have a resolution this morning, 23-6, a resolution of the Binghamton Local Development Corporation authorizing revisions to the guidelines of the 607 Step Up Grant Program. Sarah, this is you.
Yes, I believe we had approved these sometime last year. But in talking with Steve Carson, the way we had structured it just wasn't gonna pass muster with HUD, so we made some changes. Essentially, when we use CDBG funding through our HUD allocation, we can't have any restrictions on race or ethnicity as a criteria for participation in our program. The organization we were partnering with is specifically for Black and minority-owned businesses. So we just expanded the guidelines. So the folks in that program are eligible, but also people who graduated through our EAP 60-hour course, the SBDC, gone through the SBDC program, or I think we put in here an equivalent course. Basically, as long as a business can show that they're taking active steps towards developing their business, learning new business skills, they'd be eligible for one of these micro grants. Any questions?
this could really be great. It's a nice amount of money and it's, the requirements are not ridiculous, but there are some requirements, so it's good stuff. Okay. We have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Joe. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. I know the mayor and executive director have like 40 minutes of remarks each, so go ahead, Mayor, you go first.
I'll keep mine short.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. This past week, sort of bittersweet news on the downtown revitalization initiative. Our neighbors in Johnson City were awarded it, and the Clinton Street plan was not. The information that I got is that our proposal definitely turned some heads, and being a first-year applicant, I think is punching above its weight. These DRI programs, typically it takes municipalities a couple of years of application to win them. Johnson City is an example. Endicott's another example. I think Ithaca hasn't won in five or six rounds. So I think there was just some prevailing wins with Johnson City, given the pharmacy school and UHS and some other things. But we will not be deterred, and not only will we apply again next year, but we'll start to fund where possible some of the projects that are located in there, and not, rest on our laurels. I think the other thing that we have going for us is that Clinton Street plan is established, and we're working to get funding. We also have the Stadium District Master Plan, and actually today hitting the street is an RFQ for designs for reconstruction of Henry Street. So we're working on both the infrastructure and the public side of that business district, as well as, talking to developers on how to get, new housing. Obviously, the BLDC has been supportive of the Stadium Lofts project, and, we won't, waste a day lamenting the not getting the DRI. So we're going full speed ahead. When the governor was in town, she did come to downtown Binghamton. She didn't come to a local clothing store, but went to the cannabis dispensary.
Priority.
Yeah, exactly. And I was able to meet her. It was a very quick trip, but I was able to tout, the city taking a really proactive and progressive approach to having zoning. The fact that we're generating new tax revenue, we're getting people from outside of our community that are visiting that store, and just touting that, Binghamton is a place where we can do cutting edge ideas and business. So again, it was a very quick trip, but nonetheless, the governor was in town visiting one of our local small businesses. With that, I'll yield to Sarah the remainder of my time.
Cool. Great, thanks, Mayor. And yeah, just want to thank you guys all so much for your support on the DRI application. Couldn't have done it without the money that you guys authorized for this, and really appreciate all of your support and condolences in equal measure. Thank you to those of you who went to the Silos event. It was right after our meeting last time. That went really well. We had great turnout. People loved seeing that facility. I think it was great to get people inside that Save Around facility. On Save Around, we do not currently have an update on how things are going with negotiations with their tenant. The past week, we've had some really positive interactions with them that lead us to believe they're moving in a positive direction. But we've been told that we will find out this afternoon. We were hoping in moving this meeting, we would have an update for you today. But unfortunately, we will find out this afternoon. So we'll let you know when we hear. To piggyback on the mayor's comment about the cannabis store, the opening weekend was a huge success. I think I know our Parks Department and DPW did a lot on Port Street just to make sure it looks nice and people had a good experience. We handed out co-branded cards with the Chamber of Commerce, providing information on living, working, dining, shopping in Binghamton and Broome County at large. We've gotten some good clicks on the map we put together for downtown Binghamton for stores and restaurants and dining. Today, I will be walking a check over to Kareem Berry, who's the executive director of MAP, the I'm gonna get this wrong, Craig, the multi-craft apprentice assistance program.
Pre-apprenticeship
Pre-apprenticeship.
preparation program.
2 P's, not 2 A's.
Yes.
Which Frank was instrumental in helping make that connection. So that's a training facility that they'll be putting in Binghamton on the east side. through our ARPA allocation with the city, we're supporting them in purchasing a building to build out their training facility. They work to connect underemployed and unemployed and hard to employed individuals with in-demand jobs in the trade. So very excited about that.
Yeah, that's great.
How much? $275. And that just funds the purchase of the building. Yeah, so next steps, we'll be talking to them about accessing operational dollars through a variety of programs available at the state and federal level. Excited to get them hit the ground running. Anything you want to add on that, Frank?
Just, yesterday afternoon, we had a great, very well put together event of, the entire workforce, so, Bob Murphy and Becky Harris put together a great event, and I think Kareem and the MAP program probably already have about a half a dozen people ready for their, introductory cohort. It was a full room. There had to have been about 50 to 55 people from the area there that attended, looking to get into the trades, and, so really hoping that this is gonna be successful in putting some of our, marginalized, community to work in the area, so.
Yeah, we need all the folks in the trades we can get, especially if we're gonna get Henry Street reconstructed and pave our roads and get everything done that we need to get done. The Energies, as Rachel mentioned, the Energies loan closed. So John Hanrahan is now the proud owner of Energies location in downtown Binghamton. We put out a post on our Facebook yesterday. It's always nice to share good news. People want to hear good news. There's so much negative news all the time. Anytime we put anything positive out, people really respond really well. So we're going to try to capture some more of those stories about how the BLDC and the city of Binghamton are supporting our small businesses. And we'll keep going from there. One last update, you may have seen if you're driving downtown that 23 Henry Street, the Burger Mondays building, has some structural issues. We've been working closely with the owner of that property to get the masonry work that needs to be completed to create a safer path around the building. They had bricks falling off just with the freeze thaw we've had onto the sidewalk, and at that height, they're fairly dangerous projectiles. They're projecting that they'll have State Street back open by March 1st, assuming that their structural engineer is able to sign off that the health and safety issues have been fixed. And we will get Burger Mondays back open, but they've been doing a roaring trade in their takeout. And if anybody doesn't have dinner plans, they have really great burger and chicken sandwich boxes.
Fish fries for Friday.
There you go. That's true.
Very good.
And that's all for me, unless anybody has questions or any updates they want.
Else? All right. Any other business? Okay. Motion to adjourn. Second. Thank you, Mayor. We are adjourned.
Thank you.